maximum of quality. Let's see. Greece first puts in it in the form of the super maxim. Try to make your contribution one that is true and the introduction to specific maxims. Do not say what you believe to be false. Do not say that for which you lack adequate evidence. So about two sentences, this is the maxim quality of given by Greece. Let's see. Though we know that we can never guarantee that no one would be lying or speaking things in a conversation for which they have no evidence. This maxim is necessary component of conversation. Conversations would fail to take off if every listener doubts everything that the others say. There has to be some amount of trust in the truthfulness of what is being said, and this is trust that no one would be trying to lie is a built-in component of the edifice of any conversation. Let's see maxim relations. Greece places a single and short maxim here: be relevant. This is an important principle in conversation which tell us it is not sufficient in a conversation that everyone speaks truthfully. It is equally important that everyone makes contributions to the conversation that are relevant. If someone in the conversation were to ask you, how did you do in your examination today? How did you do in your examination today? For you to reply, the water in the tank is not clean, would be an irrelevant utterance even if it was true representation of the state of affairs. No, this is not relevant. This is non-relevant or no relevancy in their answer. Let's see maxim of manner. This maxim differs from the other three as it does not deal with what to say in conversation but how to say something in conversation. Greece introduced the maxim with a super maxim. Be perspicuous and then goes on introduce for some maxims. Avoid obscurity of exam. Avoid obscurity of expression. Avoid ambiguity. Be brief. Be orderly. So these are the points it should be followed by into the conversation. Otherwise your conversation is not useful. It is futile. That's why some things are take into consideration, then it will be effective conversation. Let's see. In above maxim, the term perspicuous refers to an ability to express ideas clearly. In the above maxims, the term perspicuous refers to an ability to express ideas clearly so that they are understood very easily. The term proximity refers to the use of too many words to express an idea. So you can use similar words for expressing your idea. So the insistence here is on not showing off your knowledge, of words, but on trying to get your message through successfully. This is very important in conversation, in communication. Your message should be reached at the last person. For example, in the classroom situation, every candidate should be understand each and every thing in the classroom situation. This is your trial. Let's see. These maxims are the unstated principle that underline every conversation. At least we have to assume that it does. We need to understand that these maxims are not like grammatical rules that cannot be violated. They are in fact often violated. Sometimes the violations also communicate meanings. In fact, it is understood that in a conversation every participant would try to their best to cooperate. Therefore, every time there is a violation of a maxim, the listeners do not interpret it as a deliberate attempt at non-cooperation, but rather as having some meaning that they try to deduce. In fact, all conversations see some maxims being in a conflict with some others and some of them being very creatively violated. Since non cooperation is the last thing to be assumed, any deliberate flooring or violation of the maxims gives rise to what are known as implicators. Implicators are propositions or assumptions not encoded in what is actually said but something the hearer constructs out of the sequence of talk exchanges. For examples, let's recollect the examples we had used for indirect speech acts. Those are repeated here for your convenience. Mom, can I go out to play? It's raining out. Husband, sweetheart, I'm sorry, I'm late, I'm hungry. Wife, I have cleaned the dishes. Next conversation, standing in front of B, taking pictures, blocking B's view. I'm blocking your view, not at all. I guess I should just go home and wait for your great pictures. In each of these conversations, the response B gives to Max in indirect communication. This message that is communicated is not encoded by the words of the utterance, but by what the hearer understands as the implicatures of what was said. Thus, the mother who says it's raining outside to her son's query to go out and play is not trying to be a non-cooperative. The son also, as a participant in the conversation, understands that the mother is cooperating in the conversation and therefore must make sense of what the mother had said. He must therefore deduce from the sequence and his knowledge of the world that because it is raining outside, it would not be good option to go out to play, and therefore his mother has indeed denied him permission. You can probably work out the implications that arose from the other two examples of conversation given below. Always remember that unless you have very strong reasons to suspect otherwise, you must always assume that every participant is trying to cooperate in the building of the conversation.